Today I wanted to talk about what is very close to my heart and something that I think I haven't really talked enough about on my social media. And one of the reasons why I called all my profiles Making Spirituality Real. And that is how the physical choices in your life impact the state of your soul and your spiritual development. I had too much pepper for brunch. My lips are from black pepper. Can't really do anything with it, whatever. Yeah, I think it's kind of gone. Too spicy. Now, many people believe that investing in spirituality in your life is about completely cutting off all material possessions and separating yourself from everything and everyone, living on a cloud and kind of just not really caring for and paying attention to the physical aspect of your life. And naturally, there is an abstract aspect to spirituality, which I cover on my socials in detail. I write about astrology, about tarot, about numerology. But these things are tools that you are supposed to use to improve your human life, because if you are not in a human form, you would not need to talk about spirituality. In your human form, you would be a ghost or like a spirit form floating somewhere in the ether, and you wouldn't need all of this. We need all of this because we are right now human, and we need to have our spiritual journey to unfold in a way that is adjusted to our current incarnation. Now, of course, there is a great deal of depth and wisdom that is derived from knowing that you are more than just this body, that you are a soul, and that after this human life ends, your soul will go places, and that your soul is immortal, eternal, and transcendent. But your soul picked this human experience so that you could learn something from it. And you cannot learn something from this experience if you keep dissociating from it. And I think it's something that many people fall into as a trap, where they're like, oh, I am more spiritual now, so I can just completely let go of what's happening in my human existence. But everything that happens in your human existence is a direct mirror or trigger towards something that your soul wanted to experience or learn by coming here, or otherwise you wouldn't have come here. I have had very difficult personal experiences that have made it very hard / now impossible for me to cover the more physical aspects of my life, where I would show you how I apply that in my personal life. And I still hope to do that one day. I'm not giving up on that. I really wish for it for you guys' benefit. There are also several people that I used to want to cooperate with because I shared some experiences with them and they didn't want to do it with me, so I'm gonna have to do it by myself. And that also delayed my my journey a bit, but I'm determined to get there. And one of the first easiest ways that I can do that is by just talking about it. It's words, you don't really need to show anything, at least at this stage. And so something that happens to those of us, which, let's face it, is the majority of humanity if you take a poll, who are born in circumstances where there is some sort of a physical lack. Like, again, let's think about it. How many of us are born into such comfort and luxury that we think that, oh, I don't lack for anything physically. Depending on where you come from, you can lack for it more or less. But, an average middle-class family, why do they slave away at the job they probably hate because they need it, or they will be on the street, right? So most of us grew up with that feeling of stress and lack. And what is the first thing that we do when we somehow have an opportunity where we leave that feeling of lack? We automatically throw ourselves at any opportunity for consumption, and that is that feeling of lack, seeking compensation through excess. And that is natural, this is just the pendulum swing, if that happened to you, don't blame yourself for that. That's why, we rarely manage to save anything, because we feel like we live in such scarcity. The moment we get something, we just kind of indulge in, at least temporarily, feeling like we have enough, or we have something at all, right? Honestly, capitalism is based on that. It wants you to feel hungry for more experiences. It wants you to feel like you're lacking, because then it powers the machine of consumption. If you have experienced that, no blame on my side. I grew up in a family that was extremely low middle class. Like, I don't want to say poor, but like very low middle class, where we struggle for basic things, even like the repair or exchange of home appliances. And right now, I'm married and my life is different, and I live a level of life that to my past self would be considered luxurious. Probably if you're an average American, you think it's not that much of a big deal. And my husband always kind of laughs at me, but being raised in in a poor family in Europe. To me, it is a big deal. But before this happened to me, I have lived in different circumstances. And let me tell you, one of the main things that you can do to improve your quality of life is to make your consumption and your purchasing choices something that you pick only because you really believe in it and because you really like it. Now, I know that this is very hard because we are also flooded with all these images on social media where people are glamorous and they take trips left and right, and they wear designer clothing, they own a lot of cosmetics and whatever. We get flooded by the images of constant consumption online. It's something that is encouraged. No one really encourages anybody to ask themselves if what they're getting is purposeful or if it's really good, because if people start to be discerning, if people start to think about what they're doing, nobody would make money of that, right? There are people out there who profit from the fact that you struggle to change your difficult birth situation. However, there are ways to get around it. And as someone who has had to do it my whole life, I will tell you how. First things first, you need to stop consuming an excessive amount of content that endorses an extremely consumption-oriented lifestyle. Life is about enjoyment, and consumption is part of it, but is not all of it. And the second question kind of comes from that. Ask yourself how much of the things that you consume do you actually enjoy? If you go on a weekly clothing haul, how many of these clothes do you actually like, and how many do you throw away after? I think we all waste so many things. We waste food and clothing and our resources on things that we don't even really care about. And the truth is that goes against the direct principles of the universe, because the universe is not wasteful. The universe is an extremely energetically efficient machine. So as a result, by participating in a cycle of wasteful consumption, you kind of like an instrument become distorted instead of being a finely tuned machine that enjoys things while prioritizing efficiency. And I can tell you that people who are really successful, they don't waste anything. They really watch what they have, and they opt for less things but finer. And this is something that you can start doing from home just by eliminating the consumption of things that you don't really like and you don't really enjoy. So the first question that I leave you with today is, how much do I enjoy everything that I invest my time, money, and energy into? And then you cut out all the things, all the investments that you put your energy into but don't really like. By doing this, you're honestly halfway there.